Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Iron Rim Rambling with myself, the Outlaw Adam Neeson, joined as always by the Jedi Knight, Danny Bryan. Danny, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just, you know what? I have been non-stop sipping from my Burger King Mandalorian and Grogu cup for the last 2 months
Oh,
because it's been a whole long time since we got these cups.
it truly is August.
Yeah, definitely August as of the time of recording. How are
But
you, buddy?
I'm all good, mate. I'm a bit chilly.
Mm.
Um,
In August?
in August, it's weird, isn't it? Even for the time that we're recording, it's weird that it's cold. But
Yeah, that's true. That's
you know,
true.
I'm just a cold-blooded man, not in a murder way, but just
Yeah.
in a my feet get cold. Um,
Bad circulation, brother. Bad circulation.
did I tell you that if I gave up fizzy drinks?
No. Why?
For health, not for like, I wasn't told that you're gonna die, but I was
Mm,
like, hmm, it's expensive to buy sugary beverages.
fair. So now you've just been buying the Mandalorian and Grogu diluting Robinson sparkly juice.
It's not fizzy, it's just flavorsome.
That's true. Yeah, of course, of course.
That's great.
And it sparkles.
And it's Star Wars. And
Yeah.
what's better than drinking Star Wars? I'll
Mm.
tell you, Danny.
Wow.
August is our Star Wars content creator appreciation month, or also known as
Swack'em.
SWACM. And joining us today is our very first content creator that we really appreciate. Joining us all the way from the United States of America is the Village Jedi herself, Marina. Marina, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, good. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Marina, we love your podcast and your videos. You give a genuine sort of love for Star Wars, and that's what we like to see. Like we share the happiness. And the one thing that I noticed about your content, obviously, is that you like to dress up as Rey.
Yeah,
So I can only assume that Rey is one of your favorite characters.
yeah. I really love all the girlies. So
Mhm.
depending on what era, so if you ask me what my favorite character is, my first question is going to be, well, what era? And if it's the prequels, it's probably Padme.
Mhm.
Sequels, I like Rey. Clone Wars, I love Ahsoka. Like, I love the girlies. I love
Yeah.
Dedra, Miro, and Andor. Like,
Mhm.
I love the girls.
And I think that's important because obviously, Danny, we've talked many a time before. There's a lot of angry white men on the internet, especially in the
No.
especially in the Star Wars community. And it's always nice to see, women using their platform and their voice to speak out about what they love. Because often, it's always like, oh, girls can't be nerdy, but actually, you're probably more nerdy than us, Marina.
Oh boy, I don't know about that, but I can hold my own, that's for sure.
Good, good.
Good, good. So, Marina, where does your Star Wars love begin? I suppose when do you first start to fall in love with the galaxy far, far away?
I would have to say my dad had the VHS tapes when I was growing up, and so he would play those when he got tired of watching Toy Story over and over again. He'd pop one of those in. But I don't think I really started developing a love for Star Wars until in high school, the Clone Wars came out on Netflix. And so then I watched all 6 seasons and I thought, oh, this show is so cool. I really love the characters. And so that was when I was about 16. So Disney had just bought Star Wars. And so they were going to get, we got Rogue One and then we were going to get the sequel movies. And so I feel like I joined it right when a huge influx of fans started joining it, which is like exciting because I got to be there watching Clone Wars season 7 live. I've been there for all the shows, all the new movies at the same time, which is cool. But then it's also fun seeing this new influx of fans coming in with the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And so it's just been exciting to be a part of that. But I would say I've only started loving it within the last like 10 years or so. Yeah. And I'm 27, so not even half my life. Like I've been a Star Wars fan.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed about your content is you have a big love for Star Wars books, Star Wars
Oh
literature. I mean,
yeah.
behind you now, I can see Tarkin, Kenobi. You've got, part of a good portion of your content is made up of Star Wars book content. Where does the kind of love for that begin, and what was your first Star Wars read?
I love to read just in general. I think I started loving reading more when I graduated because then it wasn't like for homework, it was for fun. And my first Star Wars book was Ahsoka by E.K. Johnson. and I just wanted to read it because it was before we got Clone Wars season 7. So I wanted to see what happened to her like everybody else, you know. And so that was my first book, and then I started kind of dipping my toe into the rest of the books. I read the Revenge of the Sith novelization, which I absolutely love that book, which then that was my gateway into more legend stories. So I'm trying to get into those, but I would have to say my all-time favorite Star Wars book that I've read is Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to read that yet, but it is phenomenal. If anyone's listening and is kicking it around, you should read it because it's basically walking you through the events of the original trilogy through the eyes of a couple, and one of them is with the Empire and one of them is with the Rebellion. And so it's just cool seeing like eyes, oh, we're on Hoth, and you see what that's like through the eyes of someone besides Leia or Luke or Han. So it's just a really fun read, and I've read that one a couple times. I really like that book.
Would you say you're a more physical reader, or do you enjoy the audiobooks as well?
I like to have the books because I like to have them as trophies, but I also recognize like if we ever moved, I got a Kindle, so I've been trying to get them on my Kindle now. So it's a little bit 50-50 at this point, I would say. But I definitely read faster on my Kindle because I can just take it with me everywhere. But a physical book is nice when we go like camping or on vacation or something like that. But I would say it's probably 50-50, honestly. But I do love, like you said, on my display, I like to have the physical books as like a proof that I'm a fan, proof that I know what I'm talking about, you know. So I think it's probably split down the middle.
I have a bookshelf and there's maybe about 50 books on it, and I would say I've read two of them.
Oh, really?
Just those specific, but it's like, you know, when you're like, you go into a bookstore and you're like, that looks really interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and then 2 years passes and you think, why did I buy that book?
Yeah. I definitely have a lot of those.
Yeah, I've
The
got
to be read list.
that pile
Oh,
on top of
wow.
the bookshelf. That's
Yes.
just Star Wars, and then
Nice.
everything below that is like just a mix of every other book. I used to work in like a bookstore chain here in the UK,
Oh,
and we got
cool.
a pretty sweet discount on the amount of books that I like bought each month, and basically just paid back the money they had just paid me
That's
into buying
awesome.
more books. So there's, again, much like Adam, there's many books I've read, but then also many, many more that I have not.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
feel the same way, especially because we live pretty close to Barnes and Noble. And
mm,
so they always come out with cool special editions of books that I'm always wanting to get my hands on. So, yeah, but at 50-50, I would say I just love the stories. So if the story's good, I don't really care if I'm holding it or if I'm tapping, you know.
yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah,
I think one of my favorite ones is probably Kenobi is my
that's a
favorite,
good one.
and Plagueis are probably like two of my faves. But I love the ones that are kind of more understated and slow burn. So recently have read Catalyst. Well, I actually did the audiobook for Catalyst, and then also Bloodline.
Oh,
Bloodlines was
that
very good
one's
as well.
so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Like just it's one of those ones that I think adds so much more depth to the Leia we see in the sequel
yeah,
trilogies that people kind of take for granted because they're not delving into the books or the graphic novels or whatever other content, you know. But it's always, I think, that the literature that's out there for Star Wars is just excellent supplementary for
yeah.
what we see in the films. What would you sort of say to anybody who is thinking of getting into sort of well, I suppose one, Star Wars in general, and two, reading the Star Wars books?
I would say for Star Wars in general, it just depends on what aspect of Star Wars you like. Like, do you like the character? Do you like the lightsabers? Do you like the politics? Do you like how cute Grogu is? Like, what do you like about Star Wars? Because there's something for everyone. And so, similarly with the books, there's definitely ones that dive into kind of like the crazier side of Star Wars, some of those EU legend stories where you've got to kind of like stay with me, you know, and you're just holding on for the ride. But then some of them are a little more like, I think of Rise of the Red Blade by Delilah Dawson. It's a good fresh look at the Inquisitors. So if you're looking for something that's maybe a little more fresh, there's just something for everyone. There's stories for fans of the original trilogy, fans of the sequel trilogy, fans of the prequel era. But then there's also books with characters that we never see on the screen and we probably never will that are also entertaining. So I think it's kind of hard to say like, oh, you should start here or I think you should read this one. It's more just start and then you'll figure out what you like as a fan because it's going to be different from what I like. I've already seen that online being a content creator. I post things and there's some people that are like, what are you talking about? And other people are like, oh, yeah, I think more people should be saying stuff like this. So I think it's kind of hard to nail down for sure what to read, what to watch. Just start. And then, like every other fan, you'll kind of pick and choose what's for you.
Yeah, the one of the recent books that I have loved is The Princess and the Scoundrel.
Oh,
Um
yeah.
that gets into like Han and Leia's sort of honeymoon. Um but that leads me on to a question that you recently brought up on one of your videos. Why do you hate Han Solo?
I so I actually have been thinking like, oh, should I delete that video? Because it's been getting a lot of traction, especially on Instagram. But then I think like I have to keep it up because I don't want to be one of those fans that's like, oh, I love all Star Wars. I love every character. I love every book because that's not realistic. You're just saying that because you don't want to make anyone mad.
Mhm.
And it's like that saying that's like a friend to all is a friend to none. Like that's how it is in Star Wars. Like I don't know anything about you if you just like everybody. So I was willing to put myself out there, I'm like, I don't really like Han Solo. And I think it's just because as like I was born in 1999, so I didn't grow up watching the original trilogy. But I think at that time, the kind of like scoundrel cowboy-esque character was cool in the 70s. And now my generation just kind of thinks it's a little icky and off-putting. Like, bro, why are you kissing her? Like she doesn't like you. Like leave her alone. Like so I think it's just more of a generational thing that I'm like if I ever met someone like that in real life, I would not care to have a relationship or a friendship with them. Like they just seem kind of, he just seems kind of selfish and a little arrogant and a little more like it's my way or the highway. And that was cool for that time. I recognize that. But just for me personally as a fan, I'm probably not putting Han Solo in my top 10 favorite characters. Like that's just the reality. So I thought about deleting that though. It's been pretty polarizing to say the least.
Stick
Don't
to your guns.
Yeah, don't delete it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh.
I
Yeah.
think like for people like me and Danny, we're a few years older than you. It's like we grew up with Han and Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford being this action guy, so it was sort of like ingrained in us that he is
Yeah,
cool. But also, about to drop a hot take, Danny, strap in. I've never told you this before.
Oh,
Even though I have a photo, like a painting of him here, I'm not a big fan of Luke Skywalker.
really.
Mm,
do tell.
he is just a bit too dry in the movies anyway. For, like books, comic books wise, he's much more interesting, but for the movies themselves, he is what people say about Rey, where they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, he's the Miri Sue."
Yeah.
And to me, Rey is a much more interesting character. There's more to her, whereas by the time you get to Return of the Jedi and at the end of Return of the Jedi, it's sort of like I could go without seeing Luke Skywalker ever again,
Yeah.
you know?
Well,
Mhm.
I just wonder if Luke would be as interesting if his father wasn't Anakin Skywalker. Like, would
Mm,
he be a cool character if he wasn't the son of the chosen one? That's what
mm,
I've always thought is like, if you take away that element, can he stand on his own? And that's why I like Leia, because I think she can. She watched her entire planet blow up. She didn't bend under Imperial interrogation. She's a very brave, she's leading the charge. She's not sitting back telling people what to do. And so she can stand alone. She doesn't care that Luke Skywalker's her brother or that Anakin was her dad. Like she's Bail Organa's daughter and she owns that. So I think if he was a little bit more like Leia, then he probably would be a little more interesting, at least in my opinion. So I can totally agree with that.
Like he sees his aunt and uncle incinerated, and then he's like, "Okay, bye."
Yeah. Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
a second thought.
Yeah. Kind of
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, I think Luke gets interesting in Last Jedi, but unfortunately, no one else. Well, not a
No.
lot of people dig that opinion. But I think that's when he kind of gets a good dose of character development. I think it's just
Yeah.
interesting where they try to take that character, and then it's just kind of like, oh, nope, never mind.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um, but you mentioned there, Han's not making that top 10 cut. But who at the minute, because obviously our top 10 characters are forever changing as new projects come out or we rewatch something and realize that we loved such and such. But who's in your top 10 right now?
Top 10. Oh man, right off the bat, I would have to say my number one is probably Ahsoka. I try not to like go that way just because I know everybody says Ahsoka, but she's probably the one character that I can genuinely not think of anything bad to say about her. She's just such a strong character. The direction Dave Filoni has gone with her story, it's made sense every time. So I think Ahsoka is probably number one. I really do like Leia. Like I was saying, she's just a strong character, and the example she set for women in the sci-fi genre at that time was groundbreaking. So I think that's awesome. And then I also really do like to watch anything that has to do with Anakin and the Chosen One, all of that. I think is such a strong um, story. That's why I have Dune, because I'm a firm believer in George Lucas taking a lot of Paul Atreides from Frank Herbert and making that into Anakin. So I think that's what makes him so interesting. So that's my third. Maul is probably number four after that show. That was a phenomenal show. So I love him. And then I'd probably have to say like, oh man. It's funny, you forget every Star Wars character. Let's see. Who else is there? I do really like Kanan in Rebels. I think he's a very dynamic Jedi, and his death obviously is so significant. And then right up there is Thrawn. I loved the Heir to the Empire trilogy. I just read that for the first time recently. And the new Thrawn trilogy that Disney put out. I do like that one. Let's see. I like Rey. I think she's a great character. I think she's just a victim of poor writing. So I think if different writers would have been in the room, she could have been something much more exciting. So then right there is probably Finn. I think the idea of having a Jedi stormtrooper defector is awesome, and what we could have seen with that would be cool. And then probably Obi-Wan. He's so strong after everything he's went through. He's still stuck to the light side and everything good about being a Jedi. And then number 10 is probably Rex from Clone Wars, because I like that he and the other clones were kind of the beginnings of the rebellion. A lot of people think it was political, but for me, I think it did start with those clones. They were the first victims of the war besides the Jedi. And the Jedi, their hands were tied. They couldn't start a rebellion, but the defected clones could. So I think that's a cool story we got to see in Bad Batch. So
Mm.
Yeah.
And then, of course, number 11, Dresh,
yeah,
the moped gang leader from Book of Boba Fett.
I
Is it
have no
Dresh or
idea
Dresh?
who that is.
It's
Oh no.
hold on, I'll bring up a picture. It is Sophie Thatcher. Uh, it's
Is that from Book of Boba?
yeah, of
Hmm.
course.
Yes, yes. I like her bionics. That's
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
but you like the whole gang, of course.
Mm,
Adam will continue to spread the word of the Mos Eisley Moped Gang as much as he can.
It's
are you
the
are you a fan of the gang, the biker gang?
I love the gang. Look, I
Nice.
100% agree with everybody's critiques,
Yeah.
but I've said on this podcast many a time, post-war teenagers, what are they going to do? Of course,
Yeah.
they're going to go against what their parents had. So they're going to have flashy mopeds. They're going to
Yeah.
have modded out, bionics and stuff. It just makes sense. It's just like you say with Ray, the writing wasn't there and the directing wasn't there, but the idea
Right.
is great. And the more we do this podcast, and the more I ask every guest, the more it has continued to be a thing, and they will just forever live in my heart.
Yeah, I think she, like her and that whole gang, I just think the concept and the idea was really strong and really great. It just was the wrong setting.
Hmm.
Like if they would have been on Mos Eisley or Ord Mantell or even Janix, this new planet we just saw, like they were really cool and their character design was a great idea, but just the setting where you've got them and then you look over and there's people living below the poverty line eating sand, like they look homeless, like it just you're like it's almost I don't remember the right word, but it's almost like it takes you out of it where you're like, that's at least how it felt for me. Like it wasn't bad as much as it was just kind of like, what are you like? How did you get here? Like this, where'd you spawn in? Like,
That's true. Like it is funny also that they're like this hip gang that doesn't take no business, but then
yeah,
old man Boba says, "I'll
exactly.
I'll give you some water," and they're like, "We like this guy."
Yeah, we'll do whatever you say.
Yeah. Your content, I like that your content's kind of, it's obviously you being passionate about Star Wars and talking about the things you love and, showing us what you're kind of discovering and what you appreciate about the galaxy far, far away. But you also kind of throw in, the standard kind of trend stuff. And one of the trends that I noticed, I've seen through your videos, is Star Wars shipping, where
Oh,
you have
yes.
done so obviously Raylo has been one of
Yeah.
them. You have done, which I thought was an interesting one, was Devon and Riley. I was kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, all right. And then Dinjarin and Bo-Katan.
Yeah, they're my
Wh-
number one.
They're your number. Is that the one you want to see happen most of
I
all right
I
now?
think so. Yeah, just because I think it's just a cool idea for like them to rule Mandalore together. I think that would be so cool. And Din Djarin, I was just having this conversation with a friend. He reminds me because we were having this debate. He's like, "Well, Din doesn't want to be the hero. He doesn't want to be the king." And I was telling him, "Well, that's what made Katniss in the Hunger Games so interesting is she didn't want to be the Mockingjay. She didn't want to go to the games either." So sometimes the coolest hero and the best character is the one that's forced into that role. And then what they do with it is what makes them so entertaining. So I've always thought how cool it would be to watch Din become the leader of Mandalore. And then obviously Bo-Katan's at his side because she has sort of that royal bloodline and I don't know. And they just look cool together, their costumes and their character designs. It's just, I really do think they'd be cool together. So they're my number one.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. And why do you think that, like, I suppose just fandom in general, why do you think fans kind of enjoy creating these relationships within the universes that they enjoy?
Man, that's a good question. I would have to say, at least for me, because I started doing it like most teenage girls during my middle school years. And it's mostly just because at that time, you just want to live vicariously. You're like, man, I would love to be a cool warrior girl who gets to come home to this cute guy who's also tough, but he's nice and sweet for me. And so that's kind of the vibes I get with all the couples I like is they can take care of business, but then when they're crying or down and they just need someone to tell them to keep going, that strong person can stoop down and grab their hand and pick them back up. So I think we just try to put those relationships into mythology because it's what either we want for ourselves or it's what we wish those wounded characters could have because we see the benefit in it. Like, I know for me, if I'm going through a tough time, when my husband comes and helps me get through it, I feel better. I know he feels better. And so when you see a character who's just going through it, you're like, man, if he just had someone to cuddle with at night, if he just had someone to like say, I love you, like maybe he'd make it out of this. So I think that's probably what I'd have to say.
Mm. And do you think Devon and Riley will comfort each other with like the loss of their father figures? One of them is
I
literally their dad,
Yeah,
and the other one's, a father figure. Yeah.
I think so. We were actually talking about this that we don't know what's going to happen to him. Like on one hand, you think he's going to meet up with his Imperial mom and that's going to be the end of that, but he also just watched the Imperials kill his dad. So maybe he doesn't like them anymore. So I think it's just going to be an interesting dynamic with Devin learning how to harness the dark side, but then also watching Riley figure out, okay, which side am I on now? Because I know my dad didn't really like the Imperials. My mom is an Imperial. Now I just watched them kill my dad, and I don't know why. So I think he's just going to be an interesting character. They're both about to go through a lot of development. And I think this event, that finale, really did define what their mission statement for the rest of their life is probably going to be. So we'll
Okay.
see.
Now I was talking to Danny about this. We don't actually see Lawson die. Do you
Dude,
think there's
I know, no body, no proof, no proof.
is there
Who
the
knows?
possibility that he ends up on an Imperial warship with his ex-wife?
I don't know. I think it's a little telling though that he's the only person that saw Maul betray Docky.
Hmm.
So if he's the only one that saw that and we didn't see a body, maybe he comes back and tells Devin the truth. Who knows? But I've been thinking about that too. That's not a crazy theory. I'm a
Mhm.
believer.
Is there a ship apart from the ones we've named? Is there one that you hope becomes a reality in the movies or the TV show? Like for instance, Seb and Agent Callus.
I don't really know. I think every ship that I've had, I've seen. Like I
Mhm.
just because like I've said, I've been doing this since I was like 11, where I would like I'd see this couple and I'd be like, "Oh, they're gonna get together." And then they do. So like prime example was Dedra Miro and Cyril Karn. Like episode 2 of Andor, I was like, "Oh, they're meant to be. They're gonna end up together." And then they did. So I think for me, it's just kind of hard to say like, "Oh, I wish they would get together," because it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but I really am just like I just have like a nose for it. I don't know. Like, oh, they should end up together. And then they do. It would be kind of cool to see. I know she never would, but it would be kind of cool to see Ahsoka end up with someone. I don't know who she would be with, but she's just been going through life all by herself. So it'd be nice to see her with someone. And then I'm a big believer in bringing Mara Jade into live action. So we would see her and Luke together. So those two have been something I've been kicking around. And then of course it would be cool if we got to see like Hera moving on and being able to raise her son with a father figure. So I don't know. I don't know. We might get a new ship from the new movie that's coming out. So I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for that though.
It sounds like so obviously the whole kind of shipping trend. Well, it was even before trends were a thing. Shipping has been a thing. Like you said, you've been doing it from you were about 11 years old, but it's very much a form of creativity and play. And, some people put it to writing with fanfic, that sort of thing. And one of the things that sort of stands out in your content as well is how much you want to write a Star Wars book.
Yeah.
Where does that dream? Are you mentioned you've been a lifelong reader. Do you write in your own time? And what is it that makes you want to aspire to write in a Star Wars book? And what kind of Star Wars book do you want to write?
Yeah, I have been a writer since about fifth grade. And I have a couple drafts that I've just been chipping away slowly at with this dream of publishing a book someday. But it's just so much time. And by the time you get your first draft done and you're looking at it for the second draft, you start seeing all these problems and then you start feeling discouraged. Like I really do have a lot of respect for published authors because it is just such a long, drawn out process. But I think for me, if I ever got to write a Star Wars book, I would love to do something that is like Lost Stars, where the book that I write enhances some sort of material. It doesn't add anything that I think Star Wars should be. It just enhances what it already is. So there's a book right now called Rise of the Galactic Empire or something like that, and it's like a history novel of how Palpatine came into power and then the fall of Palpatine, but it's written by a historian who was there during the final battle of the sequel trilogy. And so it's just cool because he's not adding anything, but when you read it, it enhances your experience as a viewer. And so I don't know exactly at what time period I would want to write my story, but I know whatever it is, I would want fans to be able to read it and not really make it about me. It's just this cool book they read, and then when they rewatch the Clone Wars or Bad Batch or Rebels or whatever, they have something that is like, oh, that obscure character, that obscure planet I have a cool story now that contributes to that. Kind of like in Brotherhood by Mike Chen. A lot of the story takes place with a battle and a problem that happened on Cato Nemoidia. And so in Revenge of the Sith, when you hear Obi-Wan just passively make that comment and he's like, oh no, that business on Cato Nemoidia didn't even count. You have a whole book now that's just for that one reference. So I think a book like that would be cool. I don't necessarily know when, but that would be my intent as a published author for the fans, hopefully.
It's funny you mentioned the Fall and Rise of the Galactic Empire because we actually had the author on
Oh,
previously.
wow. That is so cool.
Do you delve into the video games and the comic books as well?
I wish I had the time to. I watched my husband play Jedi Fallen Order, and it was too stressful for me. So I like the characters, but I'm very like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, like the calm where you just run a farm,
Mhm.
but where you actually have to like stay alive and fight Vader and run from Inquisitors. Like I don't think I could do that. So I'm a big fan of the stories that they contribute, and I don't think anyone should discredit the characters that come out of those games and the comics, but personally, I haven't had a lot of time to dive into them as much as I wish I could. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I want to, but I don't know if I'll have the time. Especially recently, I enrolled in nursing classes here. So my schedule's been kind of all over the place, and it probably will be for the foreseeable future. So I'm just kind of sticking to books, audiobooks, TV shows, movies, and then when I have an hour or two, I record a podcast about it.
Of course.
J-
So what you're saying is you want a little cozy core Star Wars game, like
Oh, that would be
Anzella,
lovely.
a little Anzellan droid building game.
Danny,
Yes, that would be perfect.
I was
Oh, I
thinking
would love that.
I was thinking a motion farmer game, but if you're saying an New Zealand droid building game,
Yeah,
come on.
imagine.
You could do both. It would have mini games. Yeah,
Yeah, just going
that
out
would
and
be
sort of the
cool.
little moisture evaporators and just be like,
Yes.
what do you need? Oh no, that's more
Yeah.
Jawas then.
That would be
Now,
awesome.
a Jawa game where you go and sell stuff.
You have the
Or steal
Anzellans
stuff.
or steal stuff. The Anzellans are there fixing the droids up, but the Jawas have to go out, steal
Mm,
the broken stuff, the scrap, take it to the Anzellans, they build it, and then the Jawas sell it on. It's the
Yeah.
same
Oh, I
effort.
love that. That
this
would be
game's making
so good.
itself.
Yeah, I posted a video about that on TikTok that I thought a fun character would be this mechanic who her only job is to repair B1 battle droids that are decommissioned. And even though she's a mechanic, they view her as like this therapist. So they're just unloading, like, we came face to face with a Jedi and I watched 800 of my brothers, like, and they're just unloading on her. And she's like, bro, I'm just here to like recalibrate your processor. Like I'm not here to like, but they just because I think B1 battle droids would have the craziest war stories. They've seen some crazy things.
Yeah, you see that a lot in the Star Wars Outlaws game.
Oh,
So the
really?
your partner's a droid commando, a commando droid,
Oh, that's cool.
and he kind of there's a bit of the game where it's not very funny. It's actually quite like sad, but you basically get to experience him kind of having droid PTSD.
Oh, wow.
So it's again, you said you're not really into playing those sort of stressful games, but if your husband's got Star Wars Outlaws, just watch him play it when you get a
Yeah, that's a
chance and
good
see
idea.
there's a particular point where yeah, you kind of do a bit of a sort of a side mission for your droid partner and it kind of delves into that notion you've just talked about.
Didn't they just come out with a book too? It's called like Red Moon or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's on my list. I want to read that.
Yeah, that's Mike Chen, isn't
Mike
it?
Chen as well, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Nice.
The Danny, I don't know if you got to the point where you find um the commando droid that is like broken down and he asks, "Did we win the war?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you have to be like, "You did, buddy. You did good."
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
dies.
It just yeah, it gets you.
Oh
You're just like, oh,
man. That's terrible.
spoilers, Adam.
A
Spoilers.
consistent wee side quest.
I know, it's so good though. Such a good game. Again, for everyone that again, that's one of those things. So with Star Wars, Adam's already kind of mentioned it. The sort of like negativity that surrounded that game when it first came out, and it's like I don't think it was overly justified. I feel like people just didn't give it a good chance. Like the narrative is there. It's a really good one. The Lando add-on to that game is fantastic. Additional content as well. So yeah, the Hondo and Aka one, not as good. Still great to see Hondo again,
Mm.
but
Oh, of course.
you but yeah, one of the other things that sort of, so you aspire to be a Star Wars author. That's one of your aspirations. But one of the other creative outlets that you have that comes across on your channel is your art. You're doing a lot of kind of your own, you've done the Rebels gang, you've done your own original characters. Where does that kind of come from again? Has that been sort of a lifelong passion, is art and drawing?
Yeah, so I'm the oldest of three, and my two younger brothers would kind of always do stuff together. And I was always, like, oh, get out of my room, leave me alone, because I was the only girl. And so I always had my own room, my own bathroom, like just my own, and they were always sharing. And so that meant like they did everything together. And so for me, I was automatically like, I loved to draw, I loved to read, I loved to do everything kind of solitary. And so just from when I was really young, yeah, I loved to draw, come up with stories, write. I would tell like 9, 10 minute stories to my mom and dad about my crazy dream I had last night, because I was just so like everything I wanted some sort of creative direction. And so drawing plus being a Star Wars fan has been really fun because I'll be like, oh, it would be cool if Ahsoka was an Inquisitor. Oh, I could draw that, so that's kind of cool is it's not it's another way for me to express my love for the characters I'm drawn to and the stories I want to see and Star Wars what if. So being able to draw has been something I've done for a long time, but I haven't pivoted it towards Star Wars until like the last few years.
And with your content, how exciting is it sort of Star Wars have commented on your posts, obviously
Yeah.
interacting with other content creators in the States. Is it how do you feel it as, a girl coming into that? Is it intimidating or is it just you feel confident enough that it's gonna be everybody's just gonna give you a big warm hug?
I think I loved it at first when I was still like small, but now I'm coming up on 1,000 followers on both platforms and which is still fairly small, but now I'm starting to like my content's being pushed toward people who aren't rooting for me and love that I'm a girl and excited to see this freshness. Now it's more like, well, Star Wars ended after Return of the Jedi and blah blah blah. And oh, you're a girl, how old are you? Like 12? Like I'm starting to get into that. So it was exciting, and I used to just not even give my posts a second thought. But now that I am growing bigger, it's kind of bittersweet. Like on one hand, it's cool because now I'm reaching more people, my show is growing, but also on the flip side, I get great comments, but then I also get an equal amount of like criticism comments. So it's exciting, but it's also a little intimidating, I have to admit, just as I'm starting to grow. If you ask me later, I'm sure my answer will be different, but for now, I am a little intimidated because it is on that cusp of like the tide. I'm already feeling it is starting to change a little bit. So I'm just going to try to stick true to who I am. And, I'm confident in my journey as a fan. I'm confident in how I view the stories. I like to think I'm a pretty chill person too. Like if you say something, I'm willing to hear you out, but I'm also willing to delete comments. Sorry, like I'll block you. I'm not afraid. Like if you call me the B word, I'll block you. Like
Yeah, there's one of our posts at the minute that's really kicking off because of the whole like there's no such thing as the sequels comments.
yeah.
Like it's really exploded for that. But I think one of the things, Adam and I being two little white boys, we don't get too many comments about like our appearance or anything, or so we kind of have that white man privilege. But it must be disheartening. It's disheartening to see when people are kind of put down for just being passionate about a thing. It's
Yeah.
such a shame, but it's good that, as you say, you're not taking it, you're blocking it, you're deleting it, and you're moving on, and you're sticking to your guns. And like you said with the Han Solo video, stick to your guns.
Yeah.
That's your opinion. You're entitled to it, and you deserve to have a voice in the space as much as anybody else, including the old crusty white men.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and what I think is crazy is I've gotten a couple comments on that video where people were like, "Yeah, you're supposed to hate him. That's the point." And it's like, "Okay, then I'm right. Like give me a star. Why are you why are you mad at me?" Like so I interpreted the character correctly. Like I don't know what the problem is. So sometimes it's just people being petty, commenting to comment, and you go to their profile, it's like user 4986, like faceless. They're just there to troll. So I try to keep that in mind too. If it's like a fellow creator, I'm willing to engage in a discussion. But if it's someone who's just, I don't care. So I'm trying to keep a balanced view of it for sure.
Well, you're attracting, the right people too. It's like obviously me and Danny have found your content, and other people that in the community are really supportive of you. So you're clearly doing the right thing.
Oh, thank you.
You just know from two Irish boys, there's an Irish phrase that is "pogue my hole," which is kiss my ass. So if you
That's pretty good.
if you ever need to write anything, just write "pogue my hole," and they'll go "what?" as you block them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the other thing. And so I'm just trying to navigate it and be positive and grateful for all the support without focusing on the negative. But I think what people don't realize is it's a real person. So if you get to a post that has, 50,000 views and 89 comments or whatever, it always irks me when someone comments, "Oh, like, I bet she this and that." And it's like, dude, you're talking to me. Like, you're not talking to the people here. Like, I get a notification. You just sent that to me. And so I try to be aware of that too, that when I do get negative comments, it's just people who aren't thinking I'm talking to a real person. And so when I try to engage with other accounts, a lot of times they'll just have their logo as their profile picture. But I do try to remember, like, hey, I'm talking to a real person. I want to engage in them the same way I would want them to engage with me. And so that's been a huge help too. Just treat others the way you want to be treated. I'm a firm believer in that. So as long as I keep putting that out there, then I think I'll be able to attract, like you were saying, the right kind of people along the way.
Mhm. Definitely. And just to sort of step away from Star Wars to talk about Dune for a second, how excited are you for Dune Messiah?
Dude, I'm pretty pumped. I'm super excited. I'm gonna have to reread. It's been a while since I read the Messiah book, so I'm gonna have to reread it. But I thought the first two movies were incredible adaptations to the book, so I have zero doubts for this movie. I think it's gonna be pretty fantastic. Are you guys excited for it too?
Oh yeah,
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 absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna
yeah.
be great.
it's
Hmm.
one of those franchises that I got into after the first movie.
Yeah,
I worked in a cinema at the time, and there was a guy there that was like, "You need to read these books." Obviously, because he knew I was a Star Wars fan. It's like, "You will like this."
yeah. You're
Um,
a nerd.
yeah, and then coming out of part one, I was like, "Holy sh!" Like that wasn't incredible. Because I'd seen the '80s movie, the David Lynch movie, and it doesn't
Yeah,
quite, it doesn't quite capture anything that resembles a good film. And coming out of the movie, especially part two, I haven't read Messiah because I don't want spoilers, but I sort of know the gist of what happens. And it's very, very exciting. The trailer was
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the comments I've gotten from friends and we've talked about it is the first movie and the second movie are very different.
Mhm.
So if you did think the first movie was boring, that's okay because it's a payoff in the second movie. Like you have to have a slow start so that you care about the characters, you care about what's going on because it's building that foundation for the second movie to just bam, 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 bam. So I'm okay if people are like, yeah, the first couple times I watched it, blah, 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 like that's okay. But I guarantee you loved the second one
Mhm.
because it was a payoff for that first one.
Yeah, I could just sit and listen to the soundtracks alone, to be honest. So I'm just excited to hear
Yeah.
what this new movie has to contribute to the already two fantastic soundtracks from the first and second. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think what also is very exceptional about it is they use such a star-studded cast. So, but it didn't feel like it was star-studded, if that makes sense. Like they weren't afraid to kill Oscar Isaac. Because sometimes I feel like you watch movies and oh, Zendaya's playing that character, so she's not going to die, but it was cool to see every single character, even minor ones, star-studded. And that's something I would like to see in more live action Star Wars projects, is because sometimes you already kind of know someone's not making it out because they're standing next to Daisy Ridley, and you've never heard of them. So I like that the director for Dune was willing to take that risk and just have it everybody is famous, and that was really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. Were you taken a little bit out of it when Christopher Walken walked out and was just like, Paul Atreides?
I was, yeah, I was like, okay, I don't care, whatever.
Yeah.
I know how this is gonna end, so
Yeah.
And going into the future of Star Wars, obviously, Ahsoka season 2 has been announced for early 2027. What are your speculations, and then what are your hopes?
So my speculations for that is obviously we're gonna get more of Thrawn and his grand plan. We're gonna see what Dave Filoni's cooking with that. I would love to see more World Between Worlds stuff. I know that, it was kind of settled, but I think if you watched that show and you've never seen Rebels, you had no idea what was happening. And so it would be cool to get her explaining what happened, her and Ezra having a conversation about it, just to kind of shed more light to the fans. What we just saw, hopefully we see more of it because it's a great tool to use in other Star Wars projects. Um, and I'm also just hoping it would be cool if we got to see like more of Thrawn's character, what makes him special, like the Chiss ascendancy, reference to Eli Vanto, things like that would be awesome. Um, and I'm also just kind of hoping that we get some sort of closure with why Ezra is the way he is. I was kind of disappointed with him, honestly. He went from this super elite character in Rebels, and then we saw him in Ahsoka, and he's like this vow of poverty hobo guy, living with the snail people. And that's fine. Like you did what you had to do to survive, but it would be cool to see him, okay, I'm back, lock in, and he's right up there again. So I would love to see that. I feel like we were kind of robbed with that a little bit.
Mhm.
Ezra's going to go to the world between worlds and he's going to meet with Kanan, but Kanan's going to be played by Freddie Prinze Jr. It's going to be him in live action. That's what I would love to see if that happened. I'd just be like, it's Fred. Let's
Yeah,
go.
man. Well, we were having a conversation if we're gonna see Zeb in the new movie, it would be cool if we got a Kanan name drop too in live action. That would be pretty sick, especially if he's gonna meet Grogu and oh yeah, I knew a Jedi really well. Like his name was Kanan Jarrus. So it just would be cool to see more of the Rebels. Like let's not forget there was a whole show. The characters are kind of scattered, but there was a time when they shared a ship, they were a family, and I would love to see kind of them together more
Mhm.
more reminiscing of that show.
Yeah, I would like to see. We'll probably not get it in Ahsoka as much, but like post New Republic, pre First Order, that sort of middle ground,
Yeah,
like a Rebels type show in there, because I feel like Hera would go back to that style of just,
yeah,
trying to do the right thing. Because she clearly wants to do that in season 1 of Ahsoka, where she's going against the grain. She's not used to the politics and the bureaucracy. Um, so it would be good to see that. Although, do I want to see it in live action or animated? Animated for television wise sort of suits my style better. Whereas, like, because if you're getting live action, you're getting it every 3 to 4 years, whereas animation, you're
yeah.
sort of getting every year. So you're getting your stories. It's good.
Well, and I think animation closes so much of the gap between fans.
Mhm.
Like in Ahsoka, there was a huge gap because, oh, it's cool we get live action. So, well, I don't like Rosario Dawson. Oh, it's cool that we have Rosario Dawson. Yeah, but her Leku are too short. Like, but if you have them in like animated, like look at Maul, there is no issues with that show. The fandom is united that this show was incredible, and it's because there wasn't any room for critique. And I think there's just so much room for critique in live action, unfortunately.
Mm.
So it would be nice just for that sake to have more animated projects because it does so good at uniting discussions and topics and debates. And you don't get these heated conversations that you don't really want to be a part of anymore. You're like, you know what? I like it. And now I feel like I can't even say that I like it because it's just going to make everybody mad. So
Yeah. Is there an animated show that you would dream of? Like, is there something in mind that you would wish there was an animated series of?
I've been seeing some speculation of this and I can get behind it. I would love to see an animated show of the main three from the original trilogy in Clone Wars animation post Return of the Jedi.
Mm.
And we see young Luke, he's building his Jedi Academy. We see Han Solo and Leia, and she's political. They have their kids. We meet young Ben Solo. I think that would be really cool in Clone Wars animation specifically.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the comic series. Like they did a lot of in between the original trilogy, and then they did a 10 issue run post Jedi.
Okay.
And it didn't really fill out anything exciting. I think a lot of fans felt the same, that it didn't really push the boundaries of what those stories could be. It was just like, here's another adventure.
Hmm.
But I would also like to see that, like the main three, um, because I'm a big Han Solo fan. No, I'd love to see Leia
More Han Solo.
more, just him, just a whole solo series. I would like to see Leia, like just a Leia series of her kicking ass.
Yeah.
Because obviously that would parallel Padme in the Clone Wars with the whole political side. But like and even though Padme is a great character, Leia basically won the war for the
Yeah.
rebels. So she has all that, and then fast forward to Bloodlines, and you have like that downfall when people discover who her father, quote unquote, is. Um, I think it's just an interesting build to that reveal.
Yeah. No, I do too. That book was phenomenal. I listened to it as an audiobook and I think I finished it in like a day and a half
Mm,
because I would just listen to it while I was cleaning the house. And for like a little bit of money, I do house cleaning too. So I'm, doing my clients and that takes 3 hours or whatever. And so I was just flying through it. And like I remember like I took my headphones off and jumped in the shower and like had my phone full blast so I could hear it over the shower. Like that book was really good. And Claudia Gray wrote it.
mhm.
So I think if she's gonna be in charge of more Star Wars stories, I'm okay with that. Her and Dave Filoni have got it pretty dialed in what the fans like to see.
Hmm.
Just gonna take us back 3 months ago because we definitely didn't record this 3 months ago.
No.
But how excited were you for The Mandalorian and Grogu?
I'm pretty excited. I actually got to see it twice in one day, so that's
Hmm.
exciting. I
Hmm.
went at 1:30 and then I also went at 8 p.m. and
Hmm.
I dressed up as Rey, which is exciting. And the first time I watched it, I just sat there, took everything in. And then the second time I watched it, I had my phone like all the way low on brightness so I could just take a bunch of notes so I could put out a great review episode for fellow fans. And
Hmm.
man, it's just gonna be a wild ride. Like I'm pretty pumped.
It was a fun reveal in your video that when the movie was over, you actually went out to the lobby and high-fived Dave Filoni.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't
Can't believe
expecting
it.
you to be there. That was so crazy.
He said, Marina, I just had to get your opinion, and high-fived you.
Yeah, yeah, he wanted a picture with me. That was the craziest part.
Yeah. And then he said, "What are your 5 episode pitches for Star Wars What If?" Because I seen the video you did of that. So, what are your 5 what if pitches for Dave?
Oh man. Well, I told him it was kind of a lengthy conversation. We had to go to Applebee's,
Hmm.
but we were
What,
talking about it.
hold on, what did he have in Applebee's? What does Dave
Um,
What was
Filoni
his
have?
order?
what's that song, that country song? It's like the Bourbon Street steak with the Oreo shake.
Oh, yeah.
That's what
That's
he
exactly what
had.
That's
Dave
what I got.
has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I would say a good what if episode is just number one, what if Anakin didn't get the suit? Like Vader without the suit, that would just be so good. It would be Paul Atreides. And getting to see him full on send, dethrone the Emperor. That would just be, I would love to see. I know it would be horrible for the galaxy, and I obviously, but as a fan, how cool would that be? So that would be one for sure. I think another good what if would be what if we got to see the Night of a Thousand Tears, like we got to see that battle between Mandalore and the Emperor and Operation Cinder, all that would be super cool. Let's see. I think another good what if could be what happened, like what if Ben Solo didn't die? I would love that. That would be fantastic. Um, I think another good what if could be what if Leia ended up having more kids, because I know that's a big dispute why she only had the one son in canon, but of course in the legend she has a few more, Jason and Jaina. That would be cool. And probably one more I would have to say is what if, man, what if Obi-Wan left the Jedi Order, got to be with Satine happily ever after? I'd love to see that. See, that's what I mean. Like my romance, my hopeless romantic is like, what if everyone just kissed and was happy together? That would be fantastic. What if we
Just
got more happy endings?
yeah, me and Adam in our content we were like, now make them kiss.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ugh. I know we just don't get enough happy endings as Star Wars fans, and I think that's part of the reason we're so bitter, is we're all just brokenhearted. Ugh. We wish there were more fireworks and Ewok campfires, that's for sure.
Yup nub.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to see Chewbacca in like a family style sitcom
Oh, that would be
With
nice.
Lumpy.
with
Bring
Lumpy
Lumpy
and
back and
Lumpy's
Nala.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
great.
Nala and Lumpy came back in a recent comic book, but it was like Chewie or Han was like, "Ah, Lumpy's getting big." Like, shut up, Han.
Have you ever watched the Notorious Christmas special?
So I think I tried, and then I couldn't get over Mark Hamill's face. Like it
That's
scares me
fair.
a little too much. And I understand, like, poor Mark Hamill, I get it, but it's a little scary for me. I'm gonna be honest. I scare easy.
Too much
It
mascara.
was a jump scare, yeah. I was like, oh, who is that? Luke Skywalker.
And R2D2 is just in the background vaping, so yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Me and Danny did a Christmas special. We covered the Christmas special, and I think we found a new found love for it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
There's like I don't know if it's your favorite scene, Danny, but it's mine, the cantina scene with B.
Oh, the
Arthur.
Cantina musical is fantastic.
It's
It's
so good.
class.
It's like they have a lock-in in the cantina, and then the bartender sings with all of the other aliens in the bar.
And there's
Um,
a
Aw.
giant rat.
there's a giant rat for
And
some
there's a
reason.
giant rat. Yeah.
And it's just a nice. It's one of those ones where if you read like from a certain point of view,
Hmm.
you could imagine that's what one of the tales would be. But then there is also an hour and a half surrounding it of really weird things happening.
Excellent.
Yeah.
But it was
I'm
the
very
70s.
Yeah, it was the stat at the time. Yeah, I think Adam and I were somewhere between fever dream and just like what's going on.
Mm.
But I think we were able to pull out the good stuff from it, the gems of it, and the biggest gem is the B. Arthur musical sequence. It's very good. Highly recommend. Try again sometime, and just when Luke appears, just cover your eyes.
Yeah, okay. Let's take a shot.
Yeah, take a shot every time Luke gives you a spook.
Then next year, following Ahsoka, we have Starfighter. Um, there's the rumor that the whole plot revolves around Ryan Gosling getting his nephew to a certain Jedi school that might be run by a certain female Jedi that rhymes with Bay.
Shmay.
Would you be excited if such a thing was to happen?
I mean, that sounds fantastic. I mean, you had me at Ryan Gosling, not gonna
Mm,
lie. Like, I think he's a phenomenal actor. There's yet to be a project I've seen with him that I didn't like.
mm.
So putting him in Star Wars sounds like a pretty good dice roll to me. So plus having Rey, a Jedi Academy is gonna be great. So here's what I'm a little nervous about. I hope they do it in a way that's acceptable to crotchety fans, because they're gonna be upset that they didn't get anything Jedi Academy with Luke.
Mhm.
So why are we getting Jedi Academy with Mary Sue, Rey, Skywalker? So I'm hoping Ryan Gosling can like glaze over that for us. Like, yeah, but Ryan Gosling, so that would be kind of nice. But for me, speaking for me, that sounds like a fantastic project, and I'm pretty excited for that if that ends up being what the plot is.
Mhm.
Mm. Talking of Ryan Gosling projects, did you enjoy, I'm being a sci-fi fan, did you enjoy Project Hail Mary?
I did not go see it. I know every
Get
single
on it.
person I've talked to has told me to go though, so I
Mhm.
would love to go.
Yeah, and you'll have
Yeah.
been by the time this podcast drops, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I
actually, I
mean,
watched it and I loved it. It was
hell yeah.
fantastic.
Weirdly, Dave Filoni again in the lobby. What do you think of
Yeah.
Project Hail Mary?
Yeah. Him and Ryan Gosling was there too.
No way. And then where'd you go to eat this time?
Applebee's again. It's right
Oh, okay,
there.
fair. Yeah, everybody's favorite.
Ry Ryan Gosling just got some boneless wings. That's just the type
Yes.
of man he is.
Yes. He took he paid for the whole table though, so that was
Oh, that's
nice.
good. That's
What a
good.
guy.
He's a stand-up guy.
What a guy. I think if they want to convince the old crusty men on the Rey School for Jedis, you would have to have other Jedis there. So
Yeah.
maybe Finn, maybe Mara Jade. I think that would sort of smooth things over, but also they shouldn't have to curtail to those idiots, but also you know what's going to happen. So throw in something exciting. Throw in um who would be a fun cameo?
Isn't there a kid that does go to the Jedi Academy and he turns evil? Like you got and Han finds him in like the like they're in the mines of Corellia or something like that. This young kid. I don't know. I read those books a long time ago
Not too
in a
sure.
galaxy far, far away. But like that kid would be cool. Like
Hmm.
he was a character in the books, so we'll just yeah,
Yeah.
that could be cool.
What
Or even the
if
Last Jedi kid who like moves a
The
broom.
broom kid?
Yeah, the broom kid. Yeah.
Yes.
I love The Last Jedi, but that broom kid.
You leave the broom
I
kid alone.
know.
He's excellent in oh, what'd you call the one Rian Johnson did with the time traveling? Not Hoppers.
Looper.
Looper. That was it. Looper. Yeah.
Um, I'll tell you the one reason. There's one shot I don't like in Last Jedi, and it involves that kid. And it's like he goes woo with his arms up, but he's delayed by about a second. So the thing happens, and he's just like woo. Like, oh, I hate you, kid. What if they go to the Jedi school and Ben Solo is just there?
Then I'd probably cry. I did cry. Yeah, no, that would be pretty awesome. They'd have to explain it, but I've always been a huge fan of the theory of World Between Worlds because him dying, I know it was great for people who I think a lot of people who were happy with him dying also hated Rey. Like that's the category. You hate Rey, you're glad Ben Solo died because that hurts Rey's feelings. Like anything I can do to make this character feel terrible, I'm glad it happened to her. So I'm glad Ben Solo died. But when you look at it from a writer's perspective, it makes no sense. It doesn't contribute to making the story better. I think if they wanted to pull off his redemption successfully, what he did was just the start. So it's the same with Anakin. Like, yeah, he redeemed himself by killing Luke or killing the Emperor, but like that was the end of his story. So did it really redeem all the horrible things that he did do? We'll never know. And so same with Ben, Kylo Ren did all these terrible things, but he was young enough that he could have had the rest of his life to atone for those atrocities, in my opinion, as a writer. And I think them walking away from that battle together would have created the first test for this new government. Like, okay, this is the last we have of Leia. Like, you got to think about that too. He's Leia's son. So I think bringing him back would just make sense because there's more story to be told with a character who was killed off with little reason, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think with Adam Driver being such a f quote unquote force behind the hunt for Ben Solo,
Hmm.
um, like he also agrees, and he's willing to come back. And if you're Disney, if you're Dave Filoni, and Adam Driver, who's one of the biggest actors in the world, is actively saying, "I will come back," then why not?
Yeah, absolutely. If you care about money that much, prove it.
Mm.
Prove it.
Palpatine came back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Anything's possible.
Yeah. Um, is there anybody from the animated shows that hasn't made it to live action you'd like to see?
I don't necessarily know where she would fit. I don't know if I would want a central story of her, but I would love to see Omega.
Mm,
I think it was cool at the end of Bad Batch. We saw her. She's leaving. Obviously, it's implied she's going to join the rebellion. So even just seeing her somehow interacting with like Clea or any of the characters from Andor, because it's at that time she's about the right age, seeing her meet up with Hera again because they met in earlier seasons of the show. I think that would make sense. That to me would be the easiest one to
mhm,
bring into live action.
mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I think I actually forgot about Omega, um, because she's such a good character, and also she has that weight of
Hmm.
the clones with her.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And any idea of who'd like to play her?
Well, she's blonde. I don't know a lot of actresses with her accent, but I think I know that McKenna Grace
Mm,
is playing a fairly complicated character in the new Hunger Games movie.
mhm,
And so I think she has that ability to play kind of a grittier character, and that genre is intense.
mhm.
So I think she could probably do a good job.
I heard she's going to appear in Starfighter as one
Oh,
of Rey's new Jedi, because you know the way she's a clone with potential Force
right,
abilities.
right.
So she's going to appear in Starfighter as one of Rey's Jedi teachers, but it's actually just Tamara Morrison in a blonde wig.
Oh, wow. I mean,
So,
I'd
you
watch that.
know.
And he'd do it too, which is
He
the
would,
crazy
he
part.
would,
He
yeah.
would.
He's got lovely legs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that when you said blonde actress, you didn't immediately say Sydney Sweeney.
Bruh. No, no, no. Shut it down.
Danny, is there anybody from the animated shows you'd like to see in live action?
Mm, I would like to see oh, Gregor. I would like to see
Mm,
Oh, that's a good
Gregor the
one.
Clone Commando in live action. I would like to see Tamara Morrison kind of pull off that kind of like loopy clone energy. I think
mm,
that'd be good. hmm
mm.
What about you?
I'd like to see Crosshair.
Oh,
Of
that's
course
a
you
good
would.
one too.
hmm
Um, just I think he would fit in. He would have fit into like Andor,
mm
um,
Yeah.
just randomly, but also it would have been like, here's thinned down Tamara Morrison.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have fit, but like those, even like any of the Bad Batch is just an
Yeah.
interesting juxtaposition to the normal clones.
You know who I'd cast Crosshair as, or who I would cast as Crosshair?
Mm.
Jason Statham.
Ooh,
Oh.
Imagine that tech. But he's actually the sniper during the Gorman massacre. Imagine he was the one doing the shooting.
well, you know,
hmm
good
hmm
soldier follows orders.
Exactly.
Marina, this has been a fantastic chat. It's been really interesting talking to you. And we've loved having you on the show. Hopefully you'll join us again for a post-Ahsoka chat, season 2 chat.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. Thank you. Yeah, this was awesome. I appreciate you guys reaching out and having me on. And yeah, I'm down to come on whenever. That was great.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Everybody, make sure to go check out the Village Jedi on Instagram and TikTok and on YouTube, and follow her podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Really interesting takes and recaps of Maul. Even though those episodes are a few months old, you can still go back. It's time to rewatch Maul. It's been a few
Absolutely.
months. But thank you, Danny, as always, for being my glorious co-host.
Of course.
Join us next week for more S.W.C.C.A.M. What's that spell again?
Swagam!
And of course, we'll have more fun and shenanigans in the stars. But as always, we have friends everywhere. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Oh, my cheese. The new OM cheeseburger from Applebee's. We took our juicy all-beef patty, melty American cheese, crispy applewood smoked bacon, spicy honey mustard, and fries, and put it on a sizzling skillet of cheese. So push the cheese, pull the cheese, love the cheese. Too much cheese? Never. Applebee's new OM cheeseburger for $11.99, also on our 2 for $25 menu.